I want to welcome you to your new addiction. Hello, my name is Sahara, and I have been hooked on numerology for a long time. I found that in life, as you go along that bumpy road of life, you need these little helpers. The times that I ignored the numerology, I paid the price. So, however, there was one thing that kept, I would get like 99% sure I've got the perfect name. And, but then it wouldn't be perfect. It wouldn't be someone just loaded with happiness and vitality. There would be a glitch. Generally, the number 10 is considered very lucky. Also, the other numbers considered lucky are multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9. And those three are your most lucky numbers, and 10 ranks right in there. The perfect 10 keeps showing up in our vocabulary. So everything, this is Pythagorean numerology, and it's as old as the hills. Numbers kind of came about through constant observation throughout the ages in all cultures, would be Oriental or European uh, or Hindi. It shows up everywhere. The reassurance of the synchronicity of it. However, I kept running into this problem. I collected shoe boxes full of names, and I added up names until I actually wore out calculators, because you know you've got something, but you haven't quite honed in on it. So one day, after having long thrown out all my uh, cards, my index cards that were filed every kind of way you can imagine, I was looking for that perfect combination. Why did I keep running into this brick wall of, of almost but no cigar? And I'll show you. It was like one morning I woke up and there was the answer. So we're going to do a couple of well-known names. And the one thing that started to intrigue me was people that had changed their names for whatever reason. And that is something that continually happens, whether it's your first name, your last name, get married. Um, Lots of times the movie stars come up with these perfect tens. And that's when I started to look a little deeper into famous names. They counted on numerology to help them give them the edge. However, in all of my reading, I never found the the that one glitch, and I did finally. It was the number 4. Uh, 4 is, uh, by the way, these numbers all correspond to tarot cards. And if you do tarot cards, there's nothing like getting the numbers to your name than laying out the cards. You will be surprised. You're going to see yourself. If you don't like, that's what I liked about it. You can be proactive. If you don't like what you come up with, it's changeable. It's worth it. I've seen that happen over and over. Uh, and so there was number 4. 4 is really the death card, and it's another form of 13. 13 is the death card, and it's always in 4. It's harsh. It's it's the hard task maker, and there'll be an area of your life that no matter how lucky you are, you'll continue running it up against this wall. And when I started to look at it in a new light, having to start all over, adding every single name that was possible. And then everything started to make sense. I liked this for someone that is really needing to change. They have an illness, they're getting slammed financially all the time. Whatever it is, wherever you walk into that brick wall, we're going to look at, is your name a 4 or a 13? So here's this correspondence. Pythagoras was a very smart fellow, and these numbers have come to these meanings throughout time. And one is these 3 letters. I think of it as each one is an anagram, and to me this is Ajax. And once you think this way, you'll add up any name you want. Nowadays, also, there's some great apps on your phone for drawing up name meanings. But there is one thing that I can add on to that rounds it out. And actually, you start getting 100% correct things. The next number is BLT, to me, or BLK, or bacon, lettuce, and tomato. That's what it comes out to me. It can also be back, but BLK for some reason stuck with it. Don't know why. And that's a 2. Next, you got a clear club, CLU. That's easy to remember. 4, DMV. 5 spells new, NEW. 6 is Fox. Gypsy. Headquarters, IRS. All you have to do is do that a couple times, and after you watch this video, come back and watch it over again, write down the numbers, and do your own name. I have a word of caution for you. People have their names for a reason. Over and over, as soon as I found this out, I was like, oh my God, the solution to everything. And I ran around doing people's names, and I would go, if you just added an I onto your name, you wouldn't be in such bad shape. What I found was people choose their names for a reason, and until they're ready to change, they'll reject it. They'll go, that's crazy, I'm not doing it. I'll go, yeah, but you're about to have your leg amputated. Would you like to think about a change? And they won't do it. Also, if you're psychic like me, you're going to find that when you tune into a pregnant woman, that and the parents of children often know, they know the name of their child, that you choose your name. However, you can, when you're ready for change, you will change. And so once you learn this, just beware of enthusiasm, because we all want that magic bullet that makes all of our problems. It smooths out the bumps, and I'm going to tell you, I can tell you some stories of people that I said, hey, you're going to die. But if you change your name, you won't. You think that went over well? No, it didn't. The lady that told me about this, her name was Mary, and she was a Rosicrucian, and I knew her daughter and her son-in-law. I did up their names, and I said, y'all in danger. I hate to tell you, but you can change it. Just, I came up with add a C, a Y, or whatever. Do you know, and I thought that the son-in-law, a dear friend, was in jeopardy. And I said, oh, it's so easy. Do you know, I guess it was a year after I foretold this, And also, I do astrology. So I was like, oh my goodness. Um, this wonderful man was shot in a random shooting. Nothing to do with him. And it was a terrible thing. So um, his he left a widow and a darling little girl. You you know, the wife also had a name that was just had some problems, and the first name was Sherry. How many ways can you spell Sherry? You'd be surprised. So I said, you know, we're all going to miss Kenny. However, you're next. Just change your name. Do you know she wouldn't do it? She met with a bad end too. She's still on this planet, but not doing very well. And as for her mom, Mary, Mary is now in spirit. I will tell you that the name Mary starts with an M. It's not a good thing. Think of a way to change it. It's not that hard. And the way I do the names is not what's on the birth certificate, but what you're known by. And therefore, it's possible. You know, there's all kinds. I can tell you a story of um, a young woman who changed her name to Bliss, Bliss. Do you know her life completely changed? And I won't have time to tell you all the good things that came her way. She, but she changed her name. She knew a little about numerology, but she more or less had a spiritual awakening up on a mountain, and her life changed. You will note that people that undergo a change in consciousness, they change their names. People in the Bible, they were Peter, but then now they're Paul. it just went on and on. As soon as they become awakened, they they would come up with a different name. This is very true of some swamis that I follow in Ananda village, and they're all uh, passionate meditators and believers in Yogananda's uh, philosophies and Hindi philosophies. And believe me, there's thousands of them. And when they come to the Swami order, the first thing they do is change their name. It's nothing like their original name. They come upon it with a change in consciousness. Oddly, I've not found any with a D, an M, or a V. So, like I said, come back to this, and I want you to write down these numbers and let me do an example for you. This book. Mary showed me this book, and I'm not kidding. This whole family who believed in numerology but didn't use it, they're all dead. As soon as I said, you taught me this, how come you're not doing it? And they have all kinds of reasons, and they're gone now. And they had hard lives, and that was my problem. I'm like, let's just enjoy our lives without this pain and this struggle. So, this is a book by Dusty Bunker and Faith Jovane, and it's called Numerology and the Divine Triangle. I never got into the Divine Triangle. The people have very complicated ways of doing names. I just, um, I, but what um, Faith and Dusty Bunker and Faith Jovane, they equate every single number to a tarot card. Oh my God, this is synchronicity in action. They take it all the way up to the, I guess, numeral of 72. And so you can find, if your name is long, or if you want more, you can put your name in and not reduce the numbers. But for now, we're going to stick with the reduction, and I'll show you. I I did come up with all kinds of fancy ways to do this on with numbers in fancy programs that were much more pleasing to the eye. But by the time I downloaded software changes and I tried it with the blackboard, I seemed to lose something along the way with the complicated technical stuff or the blackboard. So I kind of reverted back to the old faithful way of learning things. If when someone comes to me and they want to know this, I just sit down with a pencil and paper, and that's what you and I are going to do. So we're going to look at Miss Marilyn Monroe. I did her chart on my YouTube. I can paste the URL to that chart in the comment box below because if you like astrology, you will love her chart. But we don't always have people's charts. And most people don't really know astrology as it is such a big field. So, but her her name did show her fate, and so did her her chart, Leo rising. You, of course, and but still a tragic figure of sorts. The one thing that I was so upset when I did up her name, Marilyn Monroe, it came out to a perfect 10. When you add it all up, you end up with 28, 10, 1. Well, 1's about the most magical number you could do. There's, why? Her life was kind of miserable. She was kind of tragic, enigmatic, and interesting. But she had a traumatic life. And I'm going to show the whole thing was her name began with a M, not one, but two. You cannot move forward in doing your name until you look at the initials of the individual and yourself. Donald Trump, is he a happy man? Okay, he's rich. Is he happy? He never looks happy. I don't think he's been happy a day in his life. It's very rare to even see him have a laugh. D is D for Donald. So anytime I run into a D, an M, or a V, I know that this person they're not happy, period. And then if you want to take it a step further, you can look up the corresponding tarot cards to these names. And so if you know numerology, astrology, you can get this a lot. If you don't know these wonderful tools, please get the Divine Triangle. So let's look at how we do the name. The what you do is you look at your chart and you put corresponding numbers to each letter. The consonants go down here, the vowels go up here. Let's look at the vowels. 1, 9, 7. Y acts as a vowel. This adds up to 17. If you look at the tarot cards, you're going to see that 17 is a star. So that's telling you a lot right there. If you didn't know, you'd know that this person was the star of their own world somehow. And with Leo rising, like her chart was, of course. And then the consonants 4, 9, R is 9. And L is 3 and N is 5. You add this together and you get 21. 21 is the world. if you have a 21, you're going to travel. You're going to have a larger experience than the average person because the world is your oyster. And with that, you kind of get what you want. So, was this good? She did get what she wanted. Was this a good thing? Not with the initials MM. MM. When I meet somebody and someone says, oh, my name is, I don't know, Donald Duck. I'm like, oh dear, that's two D's. That there's a terrible hardship. And even Donald Duck, even in his cartoon manner, was always angry. But that's what made him funny. But he's a cartoon figure. It's funny how it works out that way. Um, I've done heroes and heroines of famous books and movies and oh my goodness, everything. So what you're going to see is 17, 21. When you add 21 and 17 together, it comes out to 11. This is reduced. 17, 8, 21, 3, and these two things together are reduced. 8 and 3 is 11. Down here you have 11, which equates to 2. Now this is where you get your tarot cards out and look it up. 2 is the high priestess, extremely mysterious. And that was kind of what Marilyn chose to portray, was a mysterious person. Even the way she walked, talked, was all an act. And she held her cards close to her chest. But these people are reclusive, secretive, and ruled by the moon. So they're moody. So if you have a 11-2, you're going to have a reclusive, moody person. Now, 11 is a justice card. You're going to answer for any things wrong that you do. Marilyn had the bad habit of sleeping with other people's husbands, and that was kind of her sorrow and her downfall. So if you go and read the interpretation for number 11, you have to play it above board. There's a harsh price to pay if you don't. It is justice, and it's cruelly exacting. Don't break the rules. You can't do it. And she did. She was always in bed with someone else's husband, including Jack and John Kennedy, and this caused her, plus the family's, huge distress. So she didn't have that kind of understanding of the rules of life. You'll get it if you are 11, justice. And if you're secretive, like the Empress, you're hiding things. I suppose she led a very secret life. Certainly interesting,